and experience on full display in the Middle East. The U.S. military's Operation Epic Fury pushing forward in Iran. Central Command announcing U.S. forces hit more than 3,000 targets in the first full week. Israel is now unleashing a new round of attacks on targets inside Iran and Lebanon. The Israeli Defense Force focusing on the infrastructure of the Iranian terror regime. I'm Harris Faulkner. You are in the Faulkner Focus. CENTCOM posted this video of the U.S. Air Force at work. The caption, the sound of American warfighting dominance. New satellite images from Iran showing heavy damage from U.S. and Israeli aerial attacks. And Iran's fighting capabilities under heavy fire now. Black smoke rising from burning ships and damaged facilities at a naval base in the southern part of the country. And the U.S. and Israel also taking out Iranian warplanes at an air base in that same area. Look at what's left. Scorched earth and debris. All that's left of the bombed aircraft. General Jack Keane.
It's quite remarkable how close to the plan that we are executing. With stunning results, to be quite frank about it. The Israelis are hitting all of those other targets I mentioned with the U.S. But what the Israelis are doing exclusively is attacking the organization. All the organizations that sustain this regime, Mark, they are systematically and deliberately taken down here.
An entire street erupted as buildings in the capital city of Tehran were attacked by Israel. The IDF going after several oil depots over the weekend. Meanwhile, Iranian leaders have named Mojtaba Khamenei, the son of Iran's late supreme leader, as the successor. And you see the younger Khamenei is even more of a hardliner than his brutal father. Fox News correspondents are covering the story from every angle, multiple locations, London, Istanbul, Turkey, Israel, Armenia, and Dubai. We are bringing you the very latest developments as this conflict unfolds minute by minute. Lieutenant Colonel Darren Gobb will come up with me in focus in just a bit. Chief National Correspondent Jennifer Griffin with new information out of CENTCOM right now. But first, let's go to Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yingst. Okay, he's inside a safety area. We'll talk with you for just a bit, as long as you can, Trey.
Harris, I've got you. Yeah, Harris, I've got you. We had a report prepared for you on Iran's new supreme leader. Suddenly, sirens just sounded across Israel's second largest city of Tel Aviv. This was some of the heaviest incoming fire that we have seen in recent days. And just given the fact that there was no early alert is an indication that this fire, and my producer just now is telling me, came from Lebanon. So Hezbollah launching at least one missile at Tel Aviv. And again, they still have these long-range capabilities. We're going to get you this video we were rolling as this attack was taking place. And we could just see about 5 or 6 different interceptor rounds, Harris, soar through the air to try to take down this incoming fire that was coming directly from southern Lebanon. Again, just an indication of the threats that this country faces, and as they are looking to see what comes next on the ground in Iran, following the news overnight that a new supreme leader was chosen, Mojtaba Khamenei, the son of Iran's former supreme leader who was killed in the opening strikes of Operation Epic Fury. Harris?
Yeah, you know what? I've been reading about him, and I know that this is an odd detail, but someone alerted me to the fact that it was so entrenched that he's the new leader that Wikipedia updated their page. And when I went there, I realized there was this warning, well, more like an informational graph, saying that this could change due to an event. I would assume that's the war on Iran right now. But what do we know about this younger son? And I know his family was hit in some of the strikes that we put on their military leaders, us and us and Israel.
Yeah, Harris, absolutely. Reports indicate that his wife and his mother and one son were killed, in addition to his father, in the U.S. and Israeli strikes that targeted the capital of Tehran. Mojtaba Khamenei is considered a hardliner. He was largely seen as the shadow prince of Iran. He was the gatekeeper for his father. He studied at Qom Seminary just south of Tehran, where many of the Shia clerics are studying in order to become leaders inside of Iran. And given the fact that he was closely following in the footsteps of his father, he was actually one of the leading forces behind the scenes, according to reports that led the crackdown on protesters inside of Iran, not just earlier this year, but also during the Green Movement protests in 2009. And so that is part of the reason that President Trump said he would not be happy if he's chosen as the next supreme leader. And again, he is considered just the next step in succession to his father, who obviously for the past several decades has been building up a regime that has threatened U.S. forces and allies across the region.
What do we know? And I know you gave us a little bit there. So the IRGC and part of the military and all of that. But what do we know about his acumen in that area? I mean, is that why we're seeing a ramp up yet almost like a second try at all of this, even though we've killed their Navy capacity, so they don't have that?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, the American and Israeli strikes against the Iranian regime have decimated the military structure of this country so far. They have systematically taken out their communication and command systems that allow officials in Tehran to communicate with their military in the field. And so they built their military around this, planning for this mosaic defense. But the reality is, as these strikes continue, we can expect more of Iran's leadership to be taken out. And it makes it very challenging for Iran to fight for long periods of time. They say that they are prepared for a months-long war. The reality will be quite different, despite the fact that there is still incoming fire from Iran itself, the ballistic missiles that soar through the skies of this country. Earlier today, one person was killed in central Israel, and the fire that we just saw now from Hezbollah. It is a military that will continue to be depleted in the days ahead.
Yeah, I'm just curious about the son. I mean, is he in command and control of this right now? Does he even have that kind of experience? Because what you're saying is if they continue to take out particularly military leadership, who will be left to make these decisions and use all that warfare? Any quick thought on that?
My quick thought is we don't know. We have very limited information out of Iran, and as it relates to the new supreme leader, all of this information is coming from state media. Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian just put out a statement about an hour ago confirming this vote, but it is challenging to get confirmed information on what this leadership structure looks like as these American and Israeli strikes continue.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems to be moving so quickly now with U.S. and Israeli forces just in so much power at this point, as Iran still tries to, I don't know if it's fakery, I don't know what it is that they're trying to show, but they're not winning. Trey, I know you're in a bunker right now. Stay safe. Thank you for the great report, as always.
Want even more Fox News on YouTube? Become a Fox News Patriot today. Click join to find out how.